You prepare the racket to contact point position and get ready to catch the ball on the strings as the arm and racket again work like a shock absorber. On impact, the racket head will flex and recoil, taking the majority of the pace off the ball. Depending on the situation, you can create angle volleys two different ways. When the ball is well within your reach, by moving your contact point forward and making contact earlier, you can position the racket face at the desired angle to create the shot. Or you can create the angle in the racket face by changing your wrist position. A technique you must learn to be able to angle on the full reaching lunge volleys. When the ball is nearly out of reach, the opposite arm will separate early to help maintain upper body control and balance as you reach beyond your stance. Be confident that you'll regain your balance after making contact on a full lunge, or fear will keep you from going for it. Even if you can't make the shot, you'll still establish in the opponent's mind your ability to create a wider wall of defense and range of coverage. On the low volley, you must get down for the shot by bending your knees. Using a slightly open racket face to create lift over the net, you should block the ball, keeping your wrist position firm to achieve depth. Remember, the opponent has you in a forcing situation. Don't rush through it, or you'll increase your risk of error. The half volley is very similar to the low volley in that you must get low for the shot and use the block technique. Positioning the racket face behind the bounce of the ball, you must anticipate the height of the bounce and the timing for the shot. And remember, sometimes the half volley drop shot is the best alternative you have. When the opponent takes aim and fires, and you realize you are the target, it is your backhand volley that has the most range in covering your body. Where the forehand volley gets jammed and awkward, your backhand volley can pass freely, like a pendulum across the body. Using the block technique, you maintain firmness in your arm and racket to achieve depth on the volley. On the high backhand volley, when the incoming ball is more of a floater and you need to add some pop to fill the opening in the court, you prepare the butt of the racket so that it points more upward towards contact. The forward action begins by driving the butt of the racket forward and down, sending the racket face up into contact as you maintain the L-shaped position of leverage in your wrist. The swinging volley, as we discussed on the forehand side, is treated like a compact version of your ground stroke without letting the ball bounce. If you use two hands on your backhand ground stroke, then use both hands on the swinging volley as well. Using your normal ground stroke grips, position yourself so you can work with the ball within your preferred contact zone. Whether you're one-handed or two, you should remember to use margin of error and apply some topspin to your shot for added control. Look to close in behind your penetrating shot so you can capitalize on any short ball opportunity and finish the point.
What I want to bring out here is how smooth she does and how level the shoulders are. Look at the use of the legs. She turns, opens up as she hits the ball.
The two-handed backhand volley should find the bottom hand in the continental grip and the top hand in more of an eastern to semi-western forehand grip. Much like the one-handed backhand volley, you must maintain leverage in the wrist position of the bottom hand. As the bottom hand works to control the racket head, the top hand provides added support through contact, then releases off the racket after contact. When creating some underspin, you will have a minimal follow-through. And under reflex conditions, rely on the simple block volley technique to have you ready for contact. For younger children, the two hands offer more control and support for the volley as they develop their strength. You should realize that it is difficult for the attacking net player to maximize their reach and their range at net using two hands. so you must develop the skill of working with just one hand as well. Eventually, you do want to become a skilled one-handed volleyer to maximize your threat at net.
This young lady's capable of doing everything. Tremendous balance. She wants to volley. She's set with the grips. We're letting her volley now with two hands, and later on we'll go to one hand. We're now letting her just use one hand. She's got the correct grip. We want those fingers spread out just a little tiny bit. That index finger is spread out. Now watch with the two hands on the volley. All right, now put the zip on it. We worked on this now today. Look at that acceleration. The atmosphere is, I want to volley. And that's what we must remember, whether it's an adult, whether it's a child, whether it's a beginner. Get them to look forward to volleying. If we do that, it's just a matter of time. Anybody that's going to be attacking that net, they're going to get lobs. And you have to give a strong message immediately. You want to lob me? You watch what I do with that. You have to learn how to hit the overheads, but wait a second. Not only are you going to hit the overhead, you're going to hit the overhead and you're going to attack and move right in for that defensive return. If you establish the fact right away, hey, counterpuncher, hey, defensive player, I don't care what you hit. I'm coming right back at you, so be prepared.
If you watch the opponent closely as they set up to execute, often you can detect their intent to lob by the way they prepare. As you're closing into net position, your split step must work to quickly reverse your body's forward momentum and start you back for the overhead. Your first reaction out of your split step should be to get lower to the ground for quicker movement. Your first few steps should work to position yourself so your contact point is out in front of your body. Stay light on your feet because you may need to use little adjustment steps as the ball gets closer to you. While you quickly position with your footwork, your upper body prepares by pointing the hitting elbow towards the back fence. Notice how the shoulders are in a level position, helping you maintain upper body balance, especially when pushed backwards. Your opposite arm prepares by pointing up towards the ball, then serves as a counterbalance, helping to rotate the shoulders as it tucks into the rib cage at contact. Your back posture must be strong and upright throughout the stroke as well. Remember, the ball is descending quickly, so you must start your swing early enough so your timing at contact allows your arm to fully extend into the overhead. You preferably want your contact point out in front of your body, but in situations where you can't position in time, you must be able to execute even when the ball gets behind you. This is where using the continental grip is most critical, enabling you to work with the ball in all the various contact point positions. You will need to learn the scissor kick technique to provide power and reach on the lobs that really push you backward. You can see how he pushes off the right foot to drive up into the shot, landing on the left foot, kicking the legs in a scissors-like action.
Most girls have a tendency for the backside to come out. Watch successful people or players hit their overhead. You'll see the whole body is quite straight when they make contact. This prevents a lot of the shanking and mishits when hitting the overhead. Look at the left hand is up, upper body's extended. Wonderful racket speed, use of her legs.
A popular strategy of the counterpuncher is to lob to your backhand side, forcing you to hit the backhand overhead. Often considered as one of the more challenging shots to master, the backhand overhead is really not that difficult if you use the right technique. As we learned on the high volley, when you want to add power, you prepare so that the butt of the racket points up towards your contact point position. The same applies on the backhand overhead. In your preparation, the elbow stays bent as the butt end points straight up towards your point of contact. You drive the butt of the racket up towards contact, and as the arm straightens out, the racket head comes up over the top, pronating the wrist. It is almost like the service motion, only in reverse, going from follow-through position to backswing. With practice, you can develop this into a weapon. Now let's review the various attacking combinations you have to work with to force the opponent. To serve and volley is the best way to capitalize on a serve strength. This tactic forces the returner to have to execute with great accuracy under pressure. Your serve must allow you time to position for the first volley and minimize the passing shot opportunities for the opponent. Serving to the tee as your primary target on the serve and volley allows you to limit the returner's options. Remember, the harder you hit the serve, the less time you have to position for the first volley. So learn to complement your power serve with variations of spin and placement. But when you serve wide, be careful, because the passing shot lanes will open up for the returner. Your primary objective on your serve should be focused on getting a high percentage of first serves in play. It is very difficult to maintain your edge when you're living off second serves and double faults. The return and volley combination is most commonly used in second serve situations. When the opponent knows you might attack behind the return, you are applying pressure to their second serve, forcing them to have to execute with much higher quality, leading to more double faults. Using underspin will allow you to adjust the depth of your return with more disguise. As on any approach shot, getting a high percentage in play is very important. Attacking down the line or straight ahead from the middle of the court is the percentage shot selection for the return and volley to allow you to achieve position and time. When the point progresses into the baseline rally, you have several options for setting up forcing situations. If you mix in deep slices and chips into your rally, you'll set up the opportunity to better disguise the use of your drop shots. Forcing the opponent with the drop shot brings them to net on your terms, giving you an easier opportunity to pass and lob. Another option you've seen is to sneak attack using the swinging volley to force your way in off the opponent's deep ground stroke. The short ball opportunities created in the rally allow you the option to attack deep and short off the approach shots. Your primary focus will be to approach deep as you mix in the occasional drop approach. The highest percentage combination is to attack down the line for the setup shots and angle the closing volleys for the put-away.
Once you hit that attacking shot, is that powerful 2 or 3 steps, then the split step that will enable you to get well inside the service line and angle out your first volley rather than hitting it north and south. Remember, add a little variation to your approach shot, including the slice. But at times you want to drive, sometimes a little underspin.
Once you initiate the attack, you must work to close the point within 3 or 4 shots, or the edge will often shift to the opponent. Never assume the point is over until it is absolutely over. Being tenacious means closing strong and giving the opponent no easy points.
And no matter how good your approach shot in your first volleys, you'll get a counter puncher that'll make you look like you're beginning, and you'll say to yourself, that's it for me, I'm not going there anymore. Don't do that. They may be on a hot streak, but as long as you force that counter puncher to hit their best shot, you've accomplished your goal. You just watched an exciting 60-minute video. Watching it is one thing. The attitude that you have, being willing to go out and put it into actual play, is what counts. You have to try it. You're going to get beat up, going to get beat up again. Keep trying. Your attitude will determine whether or not you want to be at the net or stay back at the baseline. Good luck.